today I'm in the laboratory full of contaminated fuel. Hi, I'm Peter Haddock, and I'm here at FuelActive's laboratory with Nick Massey, the CEO. Nick, why am I sat in a laboratory? What is FuelActive all about? Please tell us.
Well, Peter, fundamentally, FuelActive is about delivering value and uptime to our customers. That's really what we're about. We operate in obviously a highly competitive industry with a lot of technical features and a lot of high-tech machinery. And so it's really important to us to actually get back to first principles to really be able to demonstrate how the FuelActive system works. And obviously today we've given you an insight, get you behind the, inside the ropes to have a good look at FuelActive and see what we're all about.
You've been doing a lot of research here. You've also been talking to a lot of people. And that's the impact, isn't it, of the FuelActive system. It's about eliminating that downtime. So tell me a little bit about that journey and what actually you're getting back from end users of this product.
There's around 1 million pieces of equipment that are sold in the industry each year. And a lot of that equipment now is increasingly sophisticated with obviously stage 5 coming in. And the requirements of stage 5, fortunately and unfortunately, are it can only burn incredibly clean fuel. And so as a result of that, what we're finding is that actually the fuel supply into the site and into the tank ultimately has never really changed. And so there's actually quite a dichotomy. On one hand, you've got engines that require incredibly clean fuel to operate, but on the other side of it, you've got actually fuel that fundamentally, its quality has stayed the same for many, many, many years, as we know. And so FuelActive really fits in the middle between those two and provides that bridge. So by only supplying the cleanest fuel that's available out of the fuel tank, you're able to protect your fuel filters and ultimately the fuel that gets beyond those filters into the high pressure system, ultimately you will be able to stop the degradation of your injectors, which will produce a cleaner burn in the cylinder, result in better MPG and improved emissions.
Folks, let's have a look a little bit about that contamination and how it gets into the machines. And we've even gone all the way to Arizona to collect some contaminants, Nick. So I've come into the FuelActive laboratory, got my own FuelActive lab coat here, and the protective gloves that we'll see, to do an experiment. But the guys here forgot one thing. Don't worry, folks, I brought my own. It's a watering can. And it's the FuelActive watering can that tells me I've got to put some contaminants into this brand spanking new clean fuel. We'll see that that water will separate out in the fuel, which is causing the biggest problem. However, one of the other big contaminate problems is particulates. And particulates can come in all shapes and sizes. But of course, I'm in a laboratory and the guys at FuelActive wouldn't get any contamination right or wrong without the best materials. So I've gone all the way to Arizona and brought back some Arizona sand. So I'm stepping away now as Jack adds in the Arizona sand. Gives it a little bit of a stir as well. So as we can see now, folks, not only have we got water as a contaminant, we've got Arizona sand. Why Arizona sand? Because it's particularly harsh as a sand product and it gets into machines and into those wear parts, those bearings, clogging up those filters. We know what's going to happen. So as this settles out, we'll see what really is the contamination problem in this industry. So Nick, you've seen me messing around with my FuelActive special instruments that I bought to site today to really demonstrate what you were talking about there. The additive of water and Arizona dust to create that particulate problem that we're talking about. That blocks up filters, that blocks up the whole system, that does what you said earlier. What do you think the opportunity is then for people using this system, which by the way is so simple, folks, to retrofit, it's unbelievable, in their machines? And what do you think will be the competitive difference for end users?
It will deliver, ultimately, for the operator that runs FuelActive, it will deliver customer satisfaction. Your machine will operate to the manufacturer's specification for longer. Your machine will actually deliver the availability and uptime that the customer expects. Your machine will deliver the cost performance that you expect and a customer would expect if they're actually paying for repair and maintenance tasks.
And folks, it's really important that you mentioned that, Nick, because in the UK, we're a hire-led market. Yes, there's owner-operators as well that will take advantage of this, but the big hirers fitting this will make sure that they're not having that uptime break for their customer, that they're not having those maintenance calls, those engineers going out for a fuel problem. And I'm afraid to say, talking to your engineers, so 80%, around 80% of all failures has got something to do with contaminated fuel. That's massive, folks. And Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and see one of those end users so that we can talk to them and find out, are those words that you're saying actually true and what the impact is of FuelActive. So folks, it's goodbye from me and Nick. So let's go and see that customer vote. Nick, it's been great to talk to you, and thanks for inviting me here today.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
So today we've come to Genquip Groundhog to see one of their EcoFusion Plus units here, and I'm here to see one of the key people that's responsible for getting these on site with the plant hirers, and it's Peter Beach. Peter, Sales and Marketing Manager for Genquip Groundhog. Peter, this is a fantastic welfare unit. Tell me all about it.
Peter, this is a GPO 500 Fusion Pulse. It's a 16-foot twin axle mobile welfare unit, solar panel on the roof which trickle charges the onboard 130 amp hour AGM battery. That battery then runs the heating, the lighting, the hot water, inverter sockets and USB ports.
Woo. You've got all these things. You're ticking all these boxes. Why on earth have you got a generator there?
The generator's there to run the kettle, the microwave, which is hugely important, and also to charge the battery when, I mean, now the sun is shining, the solar panel's working wonderful.
Yeah.
October the 31st, the clocks go back, we're plunged into darkness for at least 5 months a year.
You're giving people an all-round, all-year facility for welfare on site, which we know is super important if you're going to keep people happy on site. But also, Peter, what's really exciting about this is you've recognised that there's a problem. If you can't turn the power on, if you can't charge the battery, and if your fuel is full of contaminants.
It's a 58 litre fuel tank. The nature of a welfare unit is it's going to be in a remote area. You can't just rock up to the BP station and fill it up with a nice hose. But people may refuel with contaminated containers, and also you get the issue of condensation in the tank. What's going to happen with that is that obviously there's going to be contaminants in the tank that gets sucked up by the fuel hose,
yep.
and then obviously, and then in turn that's going to clog up the fuel filter. Our phone's going to ring saying your generator's not working. We're trying to charge up our unit. The generator's not working. We send somebody out hundreds of miles, whatever it is, to go and fix it, to find it's a clogged fuel filter, which is like nothing in price, but a horrendous amount of money in someone's time to go and fix it. So what do? FuelActive's the answer, and as you can see on this 6 kVA 58 litre fuel tank, we factory fit the FuelActive. Yep. And we've done that, well, 15 years ago we first started using it. We used it as an optional extra. We then very, very quickly found out that, hang on a minute, this is a fantastic piece of kit. Our breakdowns are being reduced. The people are getting more confidence in our product. So we fitted it as factory standard for about 10 years now. So that's probably gone into over 6,000 mobile groundhog welfare units.
Thank you for being actively looking at the fuel contamination problem there with FuelActive, and thanks for inviting me down to enjoy the welfare facilities, which are always on site and also in the car park here at Genquip Groundhog. Great to meet you.
Thanks, Peter.
Cheers.
Thank you.